Hi there, this K1BZ. Okay, good morning, everybody. Yeah, it is morning, isn't it? It's 05:22 hours, Zulu time. Okay, this morning's edition is about fooling the antenna tuner, static on the antenna hangers. I'll get to that in a minute. And HRD drags. Fool the tuner. Okay. Okay, let's say that you go and you preset your tuner to a certain settings. All right. Now this is what I call fooling the tuner. Now in 15 meters with this inverted L that I got, all the settings I got on my tuner work pretty good. I mean, I don't even have to. I just set them to whatever they are and hit the key and bang. SWR is perfect, except for 15 meters. Now this is what I did. Now on 15 meters, this is my setting. And the tuner that I'm using is an MFJ 949E. Okay, now for 15 meters, I put it. I put it on J on the inductor switch here on J, and I had it set for 005, and then no, it was a 325. Excuse me, 325 on the transmitting side, and on the antenna side it was at 0.5. And the SWR, it wouldn't go down below. Well, it'd be like 1.4 to 5 or so, and it just wouldn't go down any lower. So this is what I did. I adjusted it backwards. I put the antenna on 325 on the settings here, and the transmitter side, I put that on 005. Well, on 005, the SWR was wicked high. I turned it up to like 325, bang. It was going way down. I retuned this on the antenna side, the 325 on that setting. Perfect. And see, that's what I'm saying. You got to fool the antenna tuner. See, some of these settings, I mean, they're there, but you have to kind of play with the knobs in order to get the right settings. So that's what you call fooling the tuner. Sometimes what I do, like on 75 meters, is that I would purposely put the transmitter side high enough so the SWR would go way up. So you take your antenna side and tune it, and it would drop down a little bit to get a lower SWR. Take that tuner side, bring it back up higher, take the antenna side and dip it. Sort of like a transmitter, up the grid and dip the plate. Up the grid, dip the plate. Up and down. Same difference. Your plate and your grid. You dip your plate and you up your grid. So, because in your output power of your transmitter, if you're running tubes, that's where your power comes off the grids. So it makes your power. You get your B plus going into your tubes there. So that's something else. Okay. All right. So that's what you fool with it. Now, the other thing, static on the antenna hanger. For quite a while, I've been having this problem with static and the make and break, and I rebuilt the antenna and the coax line going to the balun, which is right outside the window here. Everything's all tight, working perfect. And it's still, but I figured out what it was. And now I've got to fix that by putting a piece of wire with an insulator and putting the well, I don't know if I can do it with an insulator. I'm just going to have use some rope, some dielectric rope to go between the hook eye on the balun to the hook eye. It's underneath the eaves here. Now what's happening is I got the hook eye from the balun where the antenna wire comes off of, and it hooks onto it and just hangs on it, and it flops in the wind a little bit, so it makes and breaks. How you hear that stack, and it's irritating as hell. And there was always it's your metal roof interacting with the interacting with the antenna. There's your RF is getting into the metal roofing, and it's causing to couple it. And no, it's not worth happening. But that's another point I want to bring up. It's a kind of a funny one. So I'm just gonna put some rubber sheathing, rubber jacket of some kind around that hook eye. So when I put the antenna hook eye back onto it, it's going to be insulated between the two pieces of metal, which should work pretty good for a while, anyways. So I put something else up there. HRD drags. Now, here's another point I wanted to bring it to mind. When you're running some of these computer programs, be very careful when you're dragging your mouse across the screen. Problem is when you run your mouse across the screen here of these programs, and it's not intentional. I've done it before many times. You probably have yourself. I mean, you put your mouse up on a particular, like say this screen. This is your computer screen here, and you're up here on your super browser. So you click on that, so the page changes, and you kind of drag it down through to bring it over to where it says send, or it says says CQ, and you want to and when you come across the page, you don't intentionally try to click on anything, but if you do, and you click onto it, click, and the page changes, and there's a different format. Oh fuck! What the hell did I do? Then you gotta go up there on the where the hell is it? It's up here on I think it's a view. It's on view, and it has the different formats and stuff. And you gotta click on those to get it back. So just be very careful when you're running your mouse along these computer screens. Okay, I mean, it's not intentional. Everybody does it every once in a while. So you just got to be very careful with stuff like that. When you're running like FT8, my computer in my room here in my car all has the antivirus software that's built into the computer. I mean, you can have the outboard stuff, but the Microsoft Essentials, that works just as well as all the other stuff that's out there. I mean, probably works a lot better too, and it doesn't cost you anything. It comes with a computer. So just like your Apple computers, they have their own antivirus software built into the computer. And a lot of companies want you to buy an outboard program they because the malware that they're putting out there is yeah, right. Okay, so now here's a funny thing I learned years ago. I used to work for the state of Vermont in these rest areas on the interstate, and this one building I was working out of had a wood-fired heating system. This is really something. You gotta hear this. And don't click off on this video. Just you gotta hear this. This is funny. So, anyways, we had this big, huge furnace, wood furnace. Oh, that thing put out some wicked heat. I love that furnace. I love that restaurant. It's a wonderful place to work. Too bad they tore it down, but anyways. So it was during the winter time. It's really cold out, And and I was working nights up there, and then I decided, well, rather drive 50 miles one way home than one way back, why don't I just stay up there overnight? Which I did. I stayed right there. I had a cot in the back room, television, had a refrigerator. Right, I was like second home, So what I did is I had this outboard antenna tuner. I had a Kenwood 570, 520 SC, and it went to a tuner, and it had it tuned coax and a long wire, So I ran as a long wire. I took the ground part between that and the radio, and we had a cold water line that went in the ground. And that's a damn cold water line went a couple of miles down the hill. So I ran it to that. And the antenna wire, I ran it back of the tuner, and I bonded it to the ductwork, the heating ductwork. And that ductwork was awesome. That freaking ductwork, the building itself was about 80 feet long. The whole building was about 80 feet long. So you've got this massive ductwork, and it's like, and when they get warm, all the joints conduct. So the whole ductwork, cold air, hot air, mostly the hot air part, actually a giant antenna, worked 160 through 6 meters like nothing. Absolutely perfect. Had a hell of a signal from up there on top of that mountain. Let me tell you, that worked great. But as soon as when the morning came, fire went out during the night. Be a little chilly in there. Fire up the rig. OSW. Oh, can't tune it out. I'll fix that. Throw a few chunks of wood in there, get that fire going. Wait about 15 minutes. It's about 70 degrees in there. Let's fire up the rig. Perfect. Got a beautiful signal. I submitted that to ARRL in their column of hints and kints, and using the ductwork for an antenna. Guess someone else had thought of that, but it's all right. So then I was working another restaurant in St. Johnsbury, and they had the same thing up there, a lot of ductwork. And but the upstairs in the attic had all kinds of wires for data and telephone, power, and plumbing, and everything. They had one of these solar hot water heater units on top of the building. It was filled with this chemical called glycol. It would heat up, and it would circulate through the system and heat the water. Heat the water for the washrooms, and that's the only thing they had for hot water. That was that was it. They didn't have a hot water heater. That's all they had is for the sun would heat it. And you could hear it working. It'll be banging and burping and clunking and everything else. Stuff started expanding. So anyways, and of course the ductwork was hooked up to a electric heating plant, and it would blow hot air all through the entire building. So I had a G5 RV antenna up there in the attic part there, and one of the technicians had gone up there inside the ductwork there, and I think he must have made a mistake and hooked some of that wire to the ductwork or something, because I'd get on sometimes and you'd be transmitting an SWR, well, you have to retune it. And I got up inside there and I had to reposition the antenna wire. And then they had to get up in there again and screw around, and oh God, it was just one thing after another. So anyways, but like I said, that ductwork on the other building, that worked great. So say if you've got a some heating ductwork in your house, and you want a really good antenna, and you get, and it goes all through the house, try that for an antenna. Hey, you never know, it might work. Worked for me because you had to keep it warm, and it worked good. It worked good for an antenna during the wintertime. And so those are my tips there. Here's one more thing. RFI. Sometimes if if you get if you put a bunch of chokes on your RF feed line, your antenna feed line coming into the building, I got one of these made by Polymer Engineers. Makes a good nice little RF choke. It's about that long, and it's about that thick, and it's about that wide. About that long. Got two SO239s on each side, and it works great. Now, yeah, I mean they work really good. Once in a while, if some RF gets into the shack here, which it does anyway, it'll cause like on I forget if it was this computer or the other one of the two, on a particular band, it'll cause the mouse to freeze. I mean the signals keep rolling on the waterfall on the computer, but if you try to move the mouse while you're transmitting, you can't move it. Some other computers will let you do that. Other bands, but anyways, who wants to move the mouse while you're transmitting? You got to use all your fingers to type with. So those are my tips for the evening. So anyways, that's what I wanted to tell you about fooling the tuner, the different settings on your tuner, static on your antenna lines, the static where you hang up your antennas and stuff. A good way to prevent that is put a piece of wire or a cable or rope on where you're gonna tie down your antenna, put an insulator in between that and the antenna, you'll be all set there. And drags on the computer screen. So, and a little bit of RFI problem there too. Anyways, everybody have a good evening. We'll talk to you all this. Be safe. Don't drink and drive because you might spill your drink. That's alcohol abuse. We'd rather talk to you than read about you in the paper. You all have a great evening. Bye.